Hello fantasy managers, and welcome to the first ever FPL captaincy video from myself, Will, and fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. In this short video, we're going to be having a look at fixtures, poll results, opposition analysis, player analysis, our algorithm predictions, and of course a summary and conclusions. Let's get to it. If you do enjoy this new series, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn those notifications on, because it does really help the channel out and encourages me to do more of these videos. So these are the fixtures for the upcoming game week, and in terms of captaincy, I think we're going to focus on four main fixtures. That's Man City versus Crystal Palace, looking at Man City assets. Southampton versus Wolves, possibly those going for Ings will be interested in that one. Also having a look at Burnley versus Leicester. Obviously, those considering Vardy will be interested in that. So just having a look at the Fantasy Football Hub poll, and this suggests that a lot of people are going to go for Kevin De Bruyne, and that's not surprising after Man City's demolition of Aston Villa at the weekend. You know, I think that he is a very, very good shout. Some people go with Salah and Mane. Vardy, interestingly, he's the second choice there with 23.8%, just adding Salah and Mane into second. And a few people going for Ings as well. So 11.5% of you guys going for Ings. So those are the players and at least the teams that we're going to focus on in this video. I think there are some other differential options. For those of you that have him, I think Aguero is a very, very interesting shout. Potentially even Sterling and potentially even Jesus. So a few Man City assets there, and certainly piqued the interest of fantasy managers after that big win against Aston Villa. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look at the opposition analysis, so the teams that these guys are facing. And this table is sorted by expected goals conceded over the last 7 matches. So it just gives an indication of how good a defence that the teams have over the last 7 game weeks. So as you can see there, Manchester United actually have a pretty good defence. You know, this is saying that Liverpool have the best defence, then Sheffield United, then Manchester United over the last 7 game weeks. So based on this information, I would be hesitant to captain a Liverpool player. You know, I expect them to win against Manchester United, especially at home. But, you know, I think that Manchester United could put up a good fight, and they did play very well against Liverpool in the reverse fixture at Old Trafford. So for me, I don't really see a massive score there from the likes of Salah and Mane. I could be proved completely wrong. It could be a complete goal fest. But I think Manchester United, their defence isn't too bad, and I'll probably lean away from going for a Liverpool player just based on this information. Next up, we have Crystal Palace, and I think the main thing here is to say that they are not the whipping boys that Aston Villa are at the moment. So Aston Villa are top of that table. They have the worst defence by quite some distance in the league at the moment, and it's not surprising that Man City completely ripped them apart last weekend. You know, obviously these stats include that Man City thrashing, so potentially, you know, this table could look a little bit more different if we were to assess it next game week. But Crystal Palace, they're okay at defending. I think, interestingly, they're not too bad away from home, actually. You know, they're quite comfortable in sitting back against teams and playing on the counter. That's their preferred style. They almost prefer those away matches rather than playing at home. So I don't think Man City are going to have it all their own way at the weekend. Next, we have Wolves. So this is, you know, obviously Southampton are playing Wolves, and this is telling me that, you know, they're a fairly decent team in terms of defence. Next up, we have Burnley, who are towards the top of this table. They are the most favourable fixture. So in terms of fixtures, that is suggesting that Vardy is actually a very good pick. So this is a similar table, but it's looking at teams playing away from home and the amount of goals they've conceded over the last 7 matches. Now, this is important, obviously, because Crystal Palace, Wolves, and Manchester United are, of course, playing away from home. So those are the 3 teams that we want to look at for this analysis. Interestingly, Crystal Palace only conceding 7 goals away from home over the last 7 fixtures. This, to me, tells me that they are pretty astute when it comes to defending away from home, and they're going to have a clear game plan, counter-attacking, sit deep against Manchester City. And I don't think even if they go 1 or 2 goals down, they're probably not going to change from that strategy too much. And, you know, Roy Hodgson's going to get them organised, and I don't think that Man City are going to have it all their own way. As I said, I think that they're probably going to win that game and potentially win it by a couple of goals, but it's not going to be the route that we saw against Aston Villa. So this does make me a little bit cautious about giving those Man City assets the armband. So Wolves here got a pretty good away record over the last 7 game weeks. You know, they're ahead of the likes of Manchester United and Manchester City, interestingly, in terms of goals conceded. So not an easy fixture for Southampton. Again, Wolves are one of those teams that do know how to defend. Manchester United coming in there, not bad actually. You know, I think that they do know how to go away from home and defend. You know, they're middling in the table, so potentially, you know, you could look at that and say that Liverpool assets do have the most favourable fixture in this light. So the fixture situation isn't clear cut. You know, looking at this, I think that all of those fixtures aren't sort of, you know, there is no one standout fixture, and I think that all of them have their pros and their cons, which obviously doesn't make it that easy for us to pick a captaincy candidate. So we're going to go in a bit more depth into a little bit more of the opposition analysis, and then go on to some player analysis as well to help us make that decision. Okay, lots of people looking at Vardy's stats last game week, and he didn't get a single shot on target. So this is Southampton's performance over the last 10 game weeks away from home. And as you can see, they're very, very strong away from home. You know, in terms of their goals conceded, their expected goals conceded are very, very strong. This is Burnley at home. So this is Burnley playing at home. And as you can see, they're performing a lot worse, actually, than Southampton. So this to me tells me that this Burnley match is much, much more favourable for those thinking of Vardy captain compared to that Southampton match. But, you know, is Vardy really producing the type of numbers over the last few game weeks that we would like to see, and we would have faith in a captaincy candidate? So going into player analysis now, and I think this is interesting. This looks at total shots for our main captaincy candidates over the last 5 game weeks. And you see Ings out on top there with 20 total shots. Interestingly, Mahrez coming in second. He started all of the last 5 games, which I think is interesting. So those with Mahrez, I think he's potentially even a better option than De Bruyne at the moment. So De Bruyne, for me, not really getting the shot volume which I'd like to see from a captaincy candidate. Salah, interesting shout there. Obviously, he's played 1 less match, but he's got more shots on target than De Bruyne. I think that he could be an interesting route. Mane and Salah, again, they're always fairly close on those stats, and I think both of those are going to be good options. I can't really argue against that. Aguero, obviously, he's only got the 3 starts, but he's still coming in with 9 shots there. You know, if I had Aguero, I think that he's probably a very, very strong candidate. Vardy, bottom of this list there. Now, he has only had 3 starts, but only 3 shots in those 3 starts. Only 1 on target as well. So that's not the type of numbers that I'd like to see, despite him having that easier fixture, I would say, compared to last week against Southampton. He's got an easier fixture against Burnley. But still, though, that type of shot volume is not what I want to see from a captaincy candidate. So having a closer look at De Bruyne versus Vardy. De Bruyne there, he is so creative, and he doesn't take a lot of shots, which is not what you want from a captaincy. But what that does mean is that when he gets that assist, he often gets bonus because he's just so influential on the game, and not taking a lot of shots and creating a lot of chances. That often means that he, you know, if he does get an assist, he'll often get bonus points with that assist. So that assist is not just worth 3 points; it's worth 4 or 5 or even 6 points. So De Bruyne really good for the bonus, and I think that he is a very strong captaincy candidate this weekend. Vardy, despite having that easier fixture against Burnley, I just don't think his underlying numbers are enough for me to consider him for the armband this week. Ings is the one that I'm closely considering. Now, I think my personal captaincy decision is going to come down to between these 2 players. I watched Ings at the weekend, and my God, that guy is on form. You can just tell the way he's playing is with so much confidence. He's getting a lot of shots in. He's getting a lot of good chances. He's getting a lot of big chances. These stats are completely through the roof, and he's completely bossing pretty much every player in the game in terms of their shot volume and the amount of big chances that he's getting. He's playing extremely well. Southampton are playing extremely well. So I think there's a strong case to be made for Ings as captain. Okay, the final analysis that I'd like to do is from our algorithm on site. So this is a spreadsheet created by our statistician, and what it does is it uses spread betting odds and converts them into expected FPL points. So really, really interesting analysis. So this effectively looks at the bookies analysis and converts that into predicted FPL points. So what I've done is I've taken the top 3 players from each position to see who potentially is the best captaincy. And this, interestingly, is saying Raheem Sterling is the best captain. I do actually expect him to start at the weekend. And so I think that, you know, potentially he is a very interesting option. Coming in second is De Bruyne. So the algorithm predicts that De Bruyne is a very good shout. Then closely followed by that is Salah, and Aguero also coming in with 6.4 expected points. So those are the main contenders that the algorithm is suggesting. Interestingly, Vardy coming in 4th and Jesus in 5th. So one thing that our algorithm doesn't take into consideration is expected minutes. So potentially a little bit dampening down of those Man City assets might be needed given Pep's penchant for rotation. But this is an interesting analysis and does suggest that Sterling could be a very good pick, and also De Bruyne. You know, out of the ones that we've mainly considered in this video, this is suggesting that De Bruyne could be the way to go as well. I would just give it a shout out for Carl and his spreadsheet in general. You know, you can input your own team, you can see your predicted points for that team over, you know, certain game week ranges. So really, really useful tool for planning. You can plan your transfers in and out as well. So very useful tool for planning and prediction. And if you love stats, I'll definitely go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description for that. So coming on to the summary then, poll results saying De Bruyne is number 1, vice captain Vardy. Algorithm, interestingly, coming in a little bit left field, saying Sterling should be the captain, De Bruyne as the vice captain. Me personally, I've got De Bruyne and I've got Ings and I've got Vardy in my team. I'm split down the middle at the moment between Ings and De Bruyne. I think they're both very good options. I don't think there's a real standout this week. I think to be a little bit different, I might actually go with Ings for the armband. I'm leaning towards that way, but I haven't completely made my mind up. So if you guys do enjoy this video, I'm going to try and do this on a weekly basis and have a look over the rest of the season to see, you know, is it best to look at the poll results, the algorithm, or my own analysis, and see which of those 3 picks come out on top and keep a sort of a running points tally of them all. But otherwise, I'm really interested to know if this analysis did help you and also who you captaining. So let me know in the comments who your captain is going to be and who your vice captain is as well. I'll be really interested to see that. And last but by no means least, I highly recommend checking out Kristan's captaincy article on site. That thing goes into a lot of detail and it really gives a very in-depth analysis of the stats, much more detailed than I've gone into here. That's a brilliant, brilliant read for our members. So go check that one out on site as well. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. But otherwise, good luck for the weekend and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.